marinade bowl. Go in first on the skin side. Alright, and really press it down, get every side of it. Flip it over and press that down again. And make sure you get underneath the wings. Try to get marinade in as many corners as you can. Now, I'm going to show you what we're doing with the marinade that we saved. So I'm not a big fan of chicken breast because I find it bland and often dry. So we're going to need to give it a little flavor help. So with my fingers, I'm going to make a pocket between the skin and the breastbone. Okay, and that is what I call the flavor pocket. So there, you've got this little pocket here. And I'm going to take the extra marinade, pour it down both sides, and you're going to get in there and rub it in. And that way it helps the otherwise bland chicken breast become a lot more flavorful. So we're going to let this marinate for about an hour and flip the chicken halfway through so that both sides get equal marination. Now if your chicken comes with liver and gizzards and hearts and you like that, this marinade is great for all of that stuff, especially liver. So I'm going to stick my chicken liver and chicken heart in there as well, and I'll just saute that, or actually I can put that on the grill as well. So we'll come back to this in about an hour. So while our chicken is marinating, we're going to make the dipping sauce. Now, the dipping sauce is very light, yet it's extremely tangy and spicy, so it's really refreshing to eat with the chicken. So we're going to start with 3 tablespoons of fish sauce. Oh, by the way, this dipping sauce is called Nam Jim Jiao, and it's a classic dipping sauce to go with gai yang. Next, now in Thai cuisine, it's all about the balance between sweet, salty, and sour and spicy. So that's our salty component, the fish sauce, right? The sour, 2 tablespoons of lime juice. In that goes. And now the sweet, about 1.5 teaspoons of sugar. And if you like it a little sweeter, feel free to add more. There, give that a stir, get the sugar to dissolve. Now next is our spicy component. We're going to add 1 to 2 teaspoons of chili flakes. And it's completely up to you how spicy you want this. So, a little bit more for me. You don't even have to add any if you don't want to, but I strongly recommend. Okay, next we're going to add a textural contrast and also a toasty aroma. This is toasted ground rice, and I've used it before in my lab mu episode, so if you want to know how to make this, watch that episode. But essentially it's long grain glutinous rice that I toasted until it's nice and golden, and then I just pounded it, ground it into a powder in my pestle and mortar. You can use a coffee grind if you want to. Just make sure there's no coffee smell left in there. So about 2 teaspoons of that. And this just adds a little crunch, it adds a little texture, it adds a depth of flavor that the other ingredients are not giving. There we go. And now, last but not least, we're going to have our greenery, our cilantro, just a little bit of it, and you just, rough chop or chiffonade it. And chiffonade, as I've talked about before, is culinary French for thinly sliced into ribbons. And if you like it smaller, just run across it one more time and that's it. You don't want to over chop herbs. Now I know some people just mince the heck out of herbs, and what you're doing is you're bruising it, and all the juices, all that flavor and smell ends up on your board instead of in your food. So sharp knife, cut only as much as you need to, and that's how you retain maximum flavor in your food. There. So that's our dipping sauce. And now that we have the dipping sauce, we're going to make the starch that is classically paired with gai yang, and that's sticky rice. I've made sticky rice a couple of times on my show, but as a recap, It's long grain glutinous white rice, and make sure it's a product of Thailand because various countries have different varieties. And what I did was I soaked this overnight, at least 4 hours in cold water, and you're going to get rice grains that are really plump, saturated of water. And I'm steaming this. This is my steamer insert that goes with my rice cooker. I'm steaming this through a porous material. You can use cheesecloth, a couple layers of cheesecloth, muslin cloth. I'm just using a clean tea towel. And then in go to the steamer. And you're going to let that go for about 20 minutes or until you test it and the whole thing is nice and chewy and not crunchy anymore in the center. Alright? So the chicken has been marinating for an hour and now we're ready to cook it. Now I know earlier I said that this is a grilling technique, but I do live in an apartment and I can't really create smoke. So I'm going to cheat and put it in the oven instead. So I've got my oven at about 350. And I put my chicken right here on the sheet pan, and I'm going to brush off the little bits of lemongrass that's on the skin because that will tend to burn as you bake it. So just off there. And the lemongrass pieces on the underneath will steam and flavor the chicken nicely and they won't burn. Okay, so in that goes to a 350 oven. So this is a cheating kind of gayang. Okay, so my 4-pounder chicken takes about 40 to 50 minutes. Do check the thickest part of the chicken and it should reach the temperature, internal temperature of 165 degrees. But you want to take it out at 160 because there's carryover cooking that's going to continue even after you've pulled the chicken out. And so you don't want to overcook your chicken. So the little thermometer here will come in very, very handy. Okay, so the chicken has just come out of the oven, but as good as the chicken smelled when it came out of the oven, do not cut it open right away. You need to rest your meat, and here's why. When you cook protein, what happens is the muscles contract, which is why things shrink when you cook them. And as the muscles contract, all the moisture in the protein gets squeezed out, and if you go into it too soon, you start cutting it, all that moisture that's out is going to run out all over your board. So what you need to do is rest, because as soon as the temperature starts to drop, the muscles stop contracting and the water starts getting reabsorbed into the meat and you're going to end up with juicy chicken. So I rested this for about 10 to 15 minutes and you can tent it with foil to keep the warmth in so your chicken, the outside of your chicken isn't cold. But this is true of all meat, so steak, pork roast, whatever it is a scientific fact that applies all across the board. So now, my chicken's done, my rice is done, my dipping sauce is done, and we are basically ready to eat. So here we are. This is gayang, or Thai-style barbecue chicken with sticky rice and nam jim jao. That's all for today. Thanks for watching and thank you for all of your comments that I've been getting. Please keep them coming. I love reading them and I'll see you next time in Hot Thai.